Hello! My name is Leo and welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to be reading The Poison Song, Book 5 by Briston Zeal. In the last part, what happened? Actually, hold on. I think the stabbing happened. Yeah, that happened in book 3. Book 4 was basically Tay talking to his girlfriend, whose name was Akra, and just confessing to killing the nursemaid, and Akra essentially going, "Yeah, hail Hydra." Yes, and then he tried to kill himself, I guess, but then he washed up on shore, back on good old, I forgot the name of the island. Gorn? Yeah, Gorn. Anyway, now for book 5. For 2 days, the house healers attended Tay in his bed, and Brenya sat by his side, holding his hand. He was feverish, neither asleep or awake. Screaming at invisible phantoms, the healers complimented? Yes, the young man's fortitude. Bodies had washed ashore on the island of Gorn several times, many during the war, but never once had they seen one that lived afterwards. Oh, they literally did compliment him. Okay. I thought it was like the other meaning of compliment, where you try to supplement. Well, it's similar to supplement. Anyway, Aunt Ulala came in several times to bring Brady food. "You must be careful, dear, or when he's all well, he'll have to attend you on your sick bed." Tay's fever broke, and at last he was able to open his eyes and see the young woman with whom he had spent 17 years. 17 years, okay. All but the first year of his life. Because he was baby of House Dagoth? Right. Where was I? Sorry. She smiled at him and called for food. In silence, she helped him eat. "I knew you wouldn't die, cousin," she whispered fondly. "I hoped to, but somehow I knew I wouldn't either," he groaned. "Braina, do you remember all those nightmares I told you about? They're all true." "We can talk about it when you've rested more." "No," he croaked. "I must tell you everything now, so you'll know what kind of a monster you call your dear cousin Tay. If there was some way you could have known before, you might not have been so eager to see me well again." A tear rolled down Braida's cheek. She had grown into a beauty, even in the few months he had been away in Mournhall. "How can you think I would stop loving you no matter what you've done?" "I saw my old nursemaid, Enema, spoke to her." "Oh." Braina had feared this moment. "Tay, I don't know what she told you, but it was all my fault. You remember when Kenna Grefsey taught us about the House Dagoth and its corruption? That night, I saw your nursemaid making some kind of altar out on the north lawn, using the symbol of the 6th house. She must have been doing it for years, but I never knew what it meant. I told Uncle Trithith, and he sent her away. I've wanted to tell you so many times now, but I was afraid to. But she was so devoted to you." Tay smiled. "And didn't it frighten you even more to wonder if there was any connection between her devotion to me and her devotion to the accursed house? I know you, Braina. You're not one of those women who doesn't choose to use... you're not one of those women who doesn't choose to use her mind. Tay, I don't know what she's told you, but I think she was very troubled, and whatever she thought about you and the 6th house was wrong. You have to remember that. The ramblings of one old woman are proof of nothing. There's more, Ty said. Tay sighed and held up his hand. For a moment he blinked, and then turned to Brea angrily. What happened to my ring? If you saw it, you must have known already that everything I'm saying to you is true. I threw the filthy thing away. Brea stood up. Tay, I'm going to let you rest now. I am the heir of House Dagoth. Tay was wide-eyed, almost screaming. Raised after the war as House Indril, but driven by the song of my ancestors. When we were young, I killed Vasta because the song told me he had stolen my inheritance. When Edema told me who I was and gave me this ring, I killed her and burned her house to the ground because the song told me she had served her purpose. When I returned to Kiklis' house, my love was there, telling me that she was of House Dagoth too, and my sister. I fled, and when Kiklis tried to stop me, I slew him, because the song told me he was my enemy. Tay, stop, Brenna sobbed. I don't believe a word of it. You've been feverish. Not Tay. Wait, alright, not Tay. Shook his head, breathing heavily. The name my parents gave me was Dagoth Tithun. You can't have killed Edinburgh. You loved her, and Vespa and Kikarith, they were our cousins. They were not my true cousins, Tay said coldly. The song told me they were my foes. Just as it's telling me now that you're my foe, but I won't listen, and I'll keep from listening as long as I can. Breda fled from the room, slamming the door behind her. She took a key from her startled maid Hilma and secured the lock. Sergio, Indril Breda, Hilma whispered with great sympathy. It's all well. Is all well with your cousin, Sergio Indril Tay? He'll be perfectly fine once he rests, Branya recovered her dignity, wiping the tears from her face. No one is to disturb him under any circumstance. I'll take the key with me. Now I have much work to do. I don't suppose anyone's spoken to the fisherman about restocking Sandra House's supplies. I don't know, Sergio. It's not Sergio, it's Wait, is it a Sergio? You're thinking of Sarah. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of Sarah. So it's probably Sergio. Okay. I don't know, Sergio, said the man. I don't think so. Breda marched down to the docks and relieved her troubled heart the only way she knew how, by concentrating on small things. Tay's words never left her, but she found temporary comfort talking to the fishermen about their hull, helping to determine how much should be smoked, how much should be sent to the village, how much should be delivered fresh to the house larder. Her aunt Ulala joined the discussion, oblivious to Brenya's well-disguised agony. Together they discussed how many provisions Uncle Tuth and his commanders have devoured during their weeks on the island, when they would be expected to return, and how best to prepare. One of the fishermen on the docks called out, interrupting. A boat is coming! Urula Brynjolf greeted the visitor as she arrived. It was a young woman, dressed in the robes of a temple priestess. As she docked her small boat, Brenya marveled at how beautiful she was, and strangely familiar. Welcome to Norn, said Brenya. I am Indril Brena, and this is my aunt Indril Ulula. Have we met before? I don't believe so, Sergio, the woman bowed. I was sent by the temple to inquire whether word had come from your cousin, Indril Tay. He has been missing from his classes for some days now, and the priests have become concerned. We should have sent word, Urala fretted. He came here a few days ago, half drowned. He's better now. Let us escort you up to the house. Tay's resting now, and I asked that he not be disturbed, Brainer stammered. Actually, I know it's dreadful manners, but I need to talk to my aunt for a moment. Would it be too terrible if I asked you to wait for us at the house? You have only to follow the path up the hill and across the lawn. The priestess bowed again, humbly, and began the walk. Ulala was scandalized. You know better than to treat the representative of the temple that way, she snapped. You can't be so exhausted from tending your cousin to have lost all sense of civility. Aunt Ulala, Brainier whispered, drawing the woman away from the ears of the fisherman. Is Tay truly my cousin? He believes himself to be one of House Dagoth. Ulala took a moment to respond. It's true. You were just a baby yourself during the war, so you couldn't know what it was like. There was not a part of Morrowind that wasn't ravaged. There was even a battle here on the island. Do you remember that burned pile of wreckage you and Tay and poor little Vasta discovered so many years ago? That was the remains. And after the war, when that accursed house was finally defeated, we saw those little innocents, the orphans, whose only crime had been born to wicked parents. I admit there were some in our armies. The combined forces of the houses, who would have had them all slaughtered to annihilate the legacy of Dagoth. In the end, compassion prevailed, and the children of the sixth house were adopted into the other five. And so we thought we had won the war and the peace. By the mother, lord and wizard, if all that Tay believes is true, then there is no peace. Brainier trembled. He claims that the song of his ancestors called to him and forced him to slay 3 people, 2 of them our housemen, cousin Kithgareth, and when he was a little boy, Vasta. Ulala held her hands over her tearful face and could not speak. And it is only beginning, said Brainer. The song still calls to him. He said there were others who knew, who would help him raise up the sixth house, his sister. Must be an evil fantasy, Ulala murmured. She noticed that Brenya's gaze was now upon the path leading up to the docks towards the house. Niece, what are you thinking? Did that priestess give us a name? The two women ran up the path, calling for guards. The fishermen, who had never seen the mistress of the house, so undone, looked briefly at one another, and then followed quickly behind, pulling out their hooks and blades. The front gate to Central House stood wide open, the first of the corpses lying close within. Oh, Jesus. It was now an abattoir! There was Aenir, Uncle Tudor's valet, gutted but still seated at the foyer table, where he had been enjoying his afternoon glass of Flynn. Line, one of the chambermaids, had been decapitated while carrying some once clean linens, they're not clean now, up the stairs. The bodies of guards and servants sprawled about the hall like blown leaves. At the top of the stairs, Brainier had to hold back a sob when she saw Hilma. She lay like a broken doll, slain as she tried to pull herself out into the narrow window ledge. I need to mute for a second. Okay, I'm back. Need a good old drink. Where were we? Right. No one spoke but Brainier. Sorry. Try it again. No one spoke, not Brainier, nor Aunt Ular, nor the fishermen as they walked slowly through the blood-drenched house. I'm picturing in my mind, Django Unchained, the what's that movie? Oh god, I forgot his name. Jesus Christ. Pulp Fiction. Kill Bill. Wow, I have completely forgotten that director's name. Wow. Reservoir Dogs? No. Quentin Tarantino. Got it. I had to play in my mind the fourth movie by in order to actually understand who I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking of Django Unchained with all the blood everywhere after the big fight. Anyway, they passed Tay's sick room, its door broken open, and no one within. When they heard the sound of footsteps in Branya's room down the hall, they approached slowly, cautiously, with great dread. The priestess from the docks was standing by the bed. In her hand was the silver ring Branya had taken from Tay's finger. In her other hand was a long, curved blade, splashed like her once pristine gown with gore. She smiled prettily and bowed when she saw she was no longer alone. Akra should have recognized you by Tay's description in his letters, Branya said in her steadiest voice. Where is my cousin? I prefer you call myself Dagath Akra, she replied. Your false cousin, my true brother, has already gone to fulfill his destiny. I'm sorry you're not here. So he could give you a more permanent farewell. Branya's face twisted in fury. She motioned for the fishermen, who advanced with their weaponry. Tear her apart! The Sixth House will rise again, and Dagath Tython will lead us! Ha ha ha! Arya laughed. Her words were still echoing as she gave the sign of recall and vanished like a ghost. Booyah! Get wrecked, boys! Wait, does recall even... No, recall doesn't work in Morrowind. Does it? No. That's awesome. I totally forgot that was a spell you could do. It's like, I just killed a whole bunch of people. Are you gonna kill me now? Boom, recall, see you, bye! And then she's back in the temple. Oh, it's kick-ass. Well, that was The Poison Song, Book 5, by Brisson Zeal. I am interested to find out what's going to happen. But we'll find out that out next time. This has been another reading of the Elder Scrolls. And my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.